There. All right, so let's come to just a moment in a seat. We're not going to stay here long, but take a moment to center, sit yourself in a comfortable way so that your hips might feel a little bit supported. Maybe bring your hips up a little ways. And then as you let your hands rest down and as you let your eyes close, take a moment with your breath to simply tune into some gratitude toward yourself for showing up this morning to do a little self-care. As we get to recognize the importance of self-care, that self-care isn't selfish, but it's super important for us to be able to handle all the things that come our way. Just notice around your heart space as you take your next couple of breaths and set an intention to regularly practice some self-care. And even maybe choose a time throughout the next couple of days over this weekend to give yourself that gift. As you bring your hands to connect at heart center, let your spine get even longer, tailbone to crown, lengthening. And on your exhale, bow toward your heart, honoring yourself for this time spent. And now as you softly open your eyes and release your hands down, we're going to start right off with a little bit of movement through the hips. So you can make a little bit of space to bring your feet out in front of you and come to a little wider than your mat. And we'll take a few of those windshield wipers from here. So a little flex of your feet. Think of drawing toes up towards your knees. And then gentle movement with your knees side to side, not necessarily needing to go to the deepest place you've ever gone, but instead really tuning into whatever is present in your hips, maybe in your low back, whatever is happening for sensation in your body. Just take it to that gentle place. And now come back into center and bring soles of feet together into your butterfly. And again, not going to the deepest place you've ever gone. You might take blocks underneath your knees. If you do have a strap nearby, you can always take it around your feet just to hold on to the strap to help you sit tall. But feet being as far away from you as you need so that you can find that length through your spine. As you hold on wherever you need to, lengthen up through the crown, maybe close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. Again, bringing awareness to whatever it is that is showing up in the body right now. Keeping long through the spine, feel free to take a little bit of a fold forward if that feels okay in your body. And again, you can hold a strap here if you want to. You can hold your shins, your feet, the floor. Take a full inhale and let your whole front body grow a little longer. Exhale, go to the place that's right for you right now. 3 more big breaths right here. And now inhale all the way back upright. And if you are using a strap, you can set it aside. And then we're taking the right leg in front of us for our base. And then picking the right leg in front of us for a base. There we go. Picking the left leg up and holding your foot and your knee here. And then we'll do that little bit of rocking side to side. Remember that you can always use your left hand here behind you to help you sit up tall. So lengthen even more and give that little bit of rock. Again, finding that gentle place to go for yourself. And take some full big breaths. And now we'll take this into our half happy baby pose with this upright position. So turning your leg so that your foot is forward, knee is aimed toward the wall behind you. You can hold your shin, you can hold your foot, you can even hold the back side of your thigh. So you decide where that is. Right hand becomes your helper. And as you press down with your fingertips beside you or behind you, find more lift and length. Flex your foot on the left side and draw a little bit back, pulling back with your hand, pushing into your hand with your leg or your foot. Take a big inhale, longer. Exhale, root down through your sitting bones. Press through your fingertips. Good, 2 more big deep breaths right here. And then gently release your leg. Create that base with the left leg. Pick your right foot up, give your foot a flex. And again, you can always be using your right hand behind you to help you sit tall, or both hands at your leg. Lift up taller through your spine, rock side to side. Keep that flexed foot, ankle and knee stability here. And now we're turning our legs so that our foot is forward, knee is back, holding where you need to. Remember, you don't have to be at your foot if that's not comfortable. And then the left hand right beside your hip. Give a little press back and a push forward. Flex your foot, lift your heart. Take a full big deep inhale and exhale in and out of your nose. And now gently release your leg down. And we're going to shift onto our hands and knees. And from our hands and knees, we'll do just a couple more things that are a little bit more stretchy, a little not quite to a restore place per se. So step your right foot forward in between your hands, and you can use blocks to support here if you would like. Tuck your back toes and walk your back knee back as far as you need. Extend your heart forward. Deep, full breath here with that stretch through the back thigh, longer through your spine. Walking hands to the inside and heel toeing your front foot open so knee and toes are off at the same angle. And then lift the front part of your foot up on your right leg. So you have your pivot point of the heel, and then open the knee up as far as you need. As far as your body is wanting to go today. Extend your heart forward, and then you can stay upright here if you would like, or you can work down toward one elbow or two. Keeping that flex of your foot, that opening with your knee, extend your heart further forward. And from this place, if you want, you can take that little bit of rocking, just a tiny rock forward and back with your hips, whether you are up high on your hands or down on your elbows. Just avoid going to the furthest point possible. Just make that movement gentle. And then come back up to your hands if you're on your elbows and bring your foot back into center. Blocks on either side of your front leg. And then we'll work hips back toward our heel for our half monkey pose or half split. A little bit more of a hamstring stretch. Pull toes back. And then as you press your heel down to let your knee lift, also wrap back with your right hip and send your sitting bones up. Take a deep breath. I know for me, sometimes it's beneficial to find that rotation of my leg in the hip socket. So if that would be a good thing for your body today, maybe find that rotation, or you can stay more centered for a few breaths. If you're finding that rotation, trying to keep both hips level as opposed to letting the hips move with the rotation. And then bend into your front knee, plant hands and step back. And before we take the second side, bring big toes together, knees wide if that's comfortable, and let hips shift back towards your heels. Taking a child's pose here, letting your head rest. And as you let your head rest, if it feels good to rock over your forehead, you're welcome to. And now coming back upright to your hands and your knees, step your left foot forward in between your hands. Tuck right toes and inch your right knee further back as far as your body needs to go for that quad stretch here. Extend your heart forward, take a deep breath. And now working hands to the inside and heel toeing the front foot out to the left so your knee and toes are off at the same angle. Lift the front part of your foot up so you have that pivot point of your heel. And then open the knee up as far as it needs to go. And from there, if it would feel good to work down towards your elbows, you're welcome to, or you can stay up higher on your hands. Keep the foot flexed, and then if you would like, those little tiny movements forward and back with the hips. As you take another couple of breaths, just give yourself that information. Notice if there's any difference in the sensations or if you feel pretty even in your sides. And now back into center, you're rising up to your hands, heel toeing your foot back in, hands on either side of your front leg. And then we'll shift our hips back for that hamstring stretch. Front leg works towards straight. You can shift and adjust it to where it needs to be. Find that flex of your foot. We'll press down so that your knee lifts a little, and then wrap the right hip back. Send sitting bones up, extend your heart forward. Take a big breath. And then your choice, you can stay right here and just take some breaths with this stretch, or you can make it more of a moving stretch, an active stretch of rotation through that hip socket. And as you do that, keep hips level, just allowing yourself to notice, be present with What's showing up for sensation in more of those parts of your hamstrings, the inside and the outside. Bend into your front knee, set hands and step back. This time as you come to your child's pose, grab props for underneath your torso, and you can really pull those props in as close as your body would like. If you'd like it more underneath your belly, then you can pull it further back. If you'd like it more underneath your chest, then maybe a little further forward, but set your head down. Maybe turn it to one side, maybe let your forehead be resting. Your choice. Take some full, big, deep breaths. Make it a point to do a little shifting and find maybe a little bit more depth or a little bit more comfort. Even switch the direction of your head here if you would like. Switch how your arms are if you would like. About 3 more deep breaths right here. And now use your hands to support as you rise back up to your hands and knees. Now we'll take a spinal twist from our hands and knees that will emphasize a little bit of that hamstring and inner thigh stretch. So from your hands and knees, reach the left leg out to the left side. And as you reach it out to the side, your foot can be flexed completely, or if it's comfortable to set your whole foot on the ground, if it's okay with your ankle, you can do that. Now from this place, we're going to reach our right arm through to the left side. Left fingertips can help push into the ground to inch a little further underneath. You're welcome to have a blanket, a block, anything that you might need underneath your neck or shoulder or head. Take a big deep breath. And if you want to, you can bend that right elbow and hold on to your left leg. Or you can just keep your arm resting on the ground. Take a full breath. Gentle movement of sitting bones up and back. And now use your hands or your hand for support as you unwind your arm first. And then bring your left knee back to the ground. And now right leg out to the side. And again, you can either have a completely flexed foot or you can set your foot all the way down. Toes aimed forward here so that the inner thigh muscles can be working. So now as you pass the left arm through to the right side, setting your shoulder and your head down, remember you can always have them set on a prop. Right fingertips help you to push down an inch a little further underneath if you would like. Take a big deep breath and find that gentle tilt of sitting bones up and back. Right hand helps you to unwind your shoulders first and then bring right knee back to center. And now find your bolster again. And this time, I'm going to give you a choice. You can either lay on your bolster for this tree frog pose, or you can do a little sideline and have it just underneath your knee. So you're either going to lay your belly down onto the bolster, maybe put a prop underneath your head to bring your right knee out to the side for this tree frog, or you can lay off to the side of the bolster, use your arm for a headrest, and put that bolster underneath your thigh. Your choice which variation you do here for this hip opening. If your bolster is underneath your belly, then you might have that compression with your belly into the bolster for a little low back release. Or with this other variation of the sideline, sometimes this gets into the SI joint a little bit for release. Remember to shift and move to make it more comfortable if you find that there's anything that's starting to speak to you. And now, as you switch to the other side, that might be pushing yourself up to hands and knees, or that might be just moving your leg off the bolster, move the bolster aside, and then turn yourself to face the other way. So it depends on which one you're in, but I recommend taking the same variation on the second side. You don't have to, you might choose to switch somewhere in the middle to the other variation. But as you find that place for yourself on the second side, take a few moments to notice and be aware of any differences. Now using your hands to support you, you're either coming up to your hands and knees or simply rolling over to move the bolster. But then come on down to your hips to heels in a child's pose. And this time, without the prop underneath you, we're going to take some side to side movement. So walk your hands over to the left side and press into your right fingertips to turn your belly and your heart a little bit to the right side. Maybe look underneath your arm. And then walk your hands over to the right side. Come up to your left fingertips and turn your belly and your heart to the left. And then walk your hands over to the left side again. And this time you're going to rise up to your left fingertips and turn a little bit with your belly and your heart to maybe look to the left. And then over to the right side. And this time right fingertips to look and turn your belly and heart to the right. And then back into center now. Arms back alongside you if it's comfortable to set your head down. Let your shoulders release down. If it's not comfortable, then you can keep your arms out in front of you or even bend your elbows and bring hands together in prayer position. We'll take about 5 more full deep breaths right here. And now gently pressing yourself up to your seat, we're going to set ourselves up to come into our full frog pose. And so frog is a big hip opener. And so we'll want to have lots of props handy. I know I like to have a blanket underneath my knees. We're opening our knees up wide. So it might involve taking a really long fold of your blanket so that it can be underneath your knees. And then we're having a stack of props. It could be blankets over your bolster. It could be a bigger bolster. It could be stacks of pillows for underneath our torso. So we're coming to our hands and knees position. And with whatever you're going to use underneath your torso and really probably underneath your hips to stack up high for support, right close, right in front of you, underneath your torso, so that as you walk your knees out to the side and turn your toes out to the side, you can start to put your props where you need them. And for me, I like them right underneath my pelvis, and I like to add more for underneath my head. And so find what you need for props, and if that means rising up a little bit and stacking more underneath your torso, please do. As you find that place for yourself, you're trying to find an opening, but also some ease. As you start to find that restful place right here, and again, rest is sometimes relative depending on how much there is going on in your hips. Use your breath to help you calm and soothe, but also sense when it is and how it is that you might need to shift. Maybe that's adding more props. Maybe that's taking props away. If you have your head turned to one side in this pose, feel free to turn it the other way. Then remember to shift as you need to. You're never stuck in one place. And now you're using your hands to support you. And as you use your hands underneath your shoulders to start to lift your torso, you can begin to inch your knees back in. So then you have this hands and knees position, and then go ahead and move props aside, and then shift your hips off to one side, legs out in front of you. And then we'll take one more specific IT band stretch, hip stretch before we move into a deeper holding pose. So our 90-90 or our box sit, which we've done many times, but I think it's such a helpful way to release some things. So right leg, bring it right up against the right side of your mat. Right thigh is parallel to the side of your mat. Right shin is parallel to the short end, the front of your mat. Left thigh is straight out to the side, to the left side. Shin is parallel to the side of your mat. And then press down with fingertips, lift up with your heart. You're turning your belly toward your right thigh, and then start to work your way to fold as deeply over that front thigh as your body is ready for. Feel free to add a prop underneath hands or elbows in front of you. Take some full big breaths here. And just notice for yourself what the sensations are. Maybe notice if from the last time you did this pose, if there's any difference in the sensations in that front leg. We've now done a lot of prep, a lot of hip opening. So you might find that the sensations aren't quite as intense, or you might find that they are just as intense or more intense. Just notice for yourself what that is. Let your breath soothe and calm around any sensations. And then gently use your hands to support you to rise all the way up to your seat. And then we'll switch sides, bringing legs out in front. Shift your left hip over to the left side, left thigh, parallel to the left side of your mat. Left shin, parallel to the front short end of your mat. Right thigh out to the right side, shin parallel to the right side of the mat. So 90 degrees and 90 degrees. So then press fingertips down, lift your heart up high, start to turn your belly more toward the left thigh, and then begin to walk your way forward so that you're resting more over that left thigh. And again, feel free to add a prop or two. However it is that your body can settle a little bit and maybe let the sensations get a little soft around the edges. And now gently bring yourself all the way back upright. And we're bringing both legs out in front. And now we're going to come to a wide straddle. So a wide leg. And with that, we want it to be really comfortable. So I'm going to take pillows underneath both legs. And then I'm going to move my blanket, which is still underneath me, which you might not have. I'm going to move that so that I can use it as an extra prop if I need to. But I'm going to take my legs wide and rest them over my pillows. And then I'm going to take my blocks out in front of me. And my blocks are what I can make a different height if I need to. And my bolster over the tops of those. So it can be the tall end of the block and then a short one in front of it to rest the bolster. But we're going to try to rest our head on something. So you can adjust, stack things up. You can even stack it more straight in front of you like so. You get to find where it is that you can set your forehead down. So press down with fingertips, lift your heart up high, and then start to fold. And as you fold, and find that place to rest your forehead down. Think of your third eye resting. If there's any intensity somewhere, maybe it's through hamstrings or hips, adjust how wide your legs are, or adjust how propped up they are, or adjust how high your head is. Find what works in your body to settle your head down. Give your nervous system permission to settle, to release and let go. Remember that you're never stuck in this place, but the invitation is always to make it more comfortable. So adjust it as you need to. Inhale, gently bring yourself all the way upright. You can move your props aside. Support your knees. I like to hold on to them as I bend my knees to bring my legs in. And then we're going to come laying all the way down onto our backs. I want to give you an option because we're going to shift into our Shavasana. So you can set your bolster up with a high prop or a high block and a low block. to rest over your bolster if you would like to. And with that, maybe props underneath your legs. But ultimately, you can set yourself up in any way in your Shavasana that would feel good to you, including placing a blanket over you, setting something underneath your arms for support, or even coming back to that tree frog place that we were in earlier. A variation of a rest that would feel really good in your body right now. Awareness to your breath. Bringing a little gentle movement into fingers, into toes, into wrists and ankles. And if you're all the way lying down, bend your knees and roll to your side. If you're partially reclined, then you might just simply push yourself up to a seat. If you're on your side, take a full breath. And then support yourself to rise all the way back up to your seat. And find a comfortable seat for a few moments. We'll do a brief visualization meditation. So now from your seat, we're going to take a mudra, which is our prana mudra or life mudra, with our thumb coming to connect with our last two fingers. Our first two fingers are going to extend. Okay. And so then resting the backs of your hands on your legs, pressing the tips of your last two fingers into your thumb, thumb into your last two fingers, lift up taller through your spine. Shoulder blades are on your back. Do you let your eyes close or stay softly open? Take a couple of slow, soft but full breaths in and out of your nose. As you observe your breath moving in and out of your body, either begin to notice yourself as a tree, or simply imagine a tree in front of you, whichever one comes more naturally. And as you inhale, notice the roots of your tree reaching further down into the ground, getting longer and stronger. And as you exhale, notice the trunk of your tree lifting and extending. Inhale, allow those roots to get even longer, stronger, more rooted. Exhale, energetically reach all the way up through the crown and even above. Inhale, rooting strongly, creating a strong support system for yourself. Exhale, extending your energy so much that it reaches beyond you and out. A couple more breaths this way. And now as you imagine these two parts of your breath working to ground and to extend, add the affirmation of, I'm always safe at the center of my being, if you'd like to. Inhale, root down, I'm always safe. Exhale, extend through your center, at the center of my being. Inhale, I'm always safe. Exhale, at the center of my being. And now bring hands to connect the heart center. And from that rooted and safe place, sit up taller. Exhale, bow towards your heart. Have a beautiful day, have a beautiful weekend. Namaste.